students. So in the previous class we have studied with that of the phloem, which is the second complex permanent tissue. Phloem, it is a complex tissue because it is consisting of a more than one type of a cell that is known as phloem elements. So we studied that it is consisting of a phloem parenchyma, which is a living tissue having intercellular spaces. Phloem fiber is present, which is also known as a bast fiber, which is a sclerenchymatous cell, dead cell, as well as two other cells are also present in it, two elements are present in it that is responsible for the conduction, which is a sieve tube and companion cell. This sieve tube and that of the companion cell is basically present in that of the angiospermic plant, or we can say it is mainly present in the angiosperms. While in case of a gymnosperms, instead of the sieve tube, sieve cells and the albuminous cell is present in it. So in place of the companion cell, albuminous cell is present, and in place of that of the sieve tubes, sieve cells are present, but the function remains the same. Both of them help in conduction of the food and nutrient from the leaves to the different parts of the plant. Now today we will continue with the protective tissues, that is the epidermal layer, that is also known as epidermis, and the cork. Now we will see the difference between that of the xylem and the phloem. Okay students, so you see here that xylem and phloem, the common or the similarities between them, that they both are the part of the complex permanent tissues. Okay, so both of them consisting of a different type of a cells. When they combine together, the different elements, when they combine together, they form a vascular tissue, that is xylem, as well as that of the phloem. So xylem have their own elements and phloem is having their own element. Even the function, that is also the same, almost the same, that is in xylem there also a conduction. Here it is also helping conducting the substances. Okay, so xylem and phloem both are known as a conducting tissue. Now we will see that what is the basic difference between that of the xylem and the phloem. So you see student, in case of a xylem you will see that xylem, it carry water from root to the leaves, and phloem, it carries food from leaves to the growing part and storage organ. So the function of the xylem, that it carry water from the roots to the leaves. Water, it absorbs roots, it absorbs water from the soil, and that water get transferred to the stem. The stem take that water and help with the help of a transpiration pull, it conduct that water to that of the leaves. Okay, so xylem, it carries water from the roots to the leaf. When we talk about the phloem student, then you can see here that in case of a phloem, it carries food from the leaves to the growing part and the storage organ. Now see here, this consisting of the water, it takes the water to the leaves, and you know that the process of photosynthesis occur, and due to which this phloem, there is a after photosynthesis there is a result of the food. It means that photosynthesis gives food, it produces starch, that is a food of the plant. Now phloem, it carries that food from the leaves, and from the leaves it take that food to the different part of the plants. Okay, not to the different growing part, but the excess amount of a food, it gets stored in the form of a starch. Okay, so the excess amount of food is stored is stored in form of the starch, and that storage occur in an organ which is known as a storage organs. Now, if you see, made up of a dead cell. So, in case of a xylem student, you know that whether it is a tracheids or is a xylem vessels, even that of the xylem fiber, it is mainly dead cells. And why is it so? It is because of the presence of the lignin, and that lignin deposition, that lignification on the wall causes the cytoplasm to die, and due to which it become a dead cell. But if you see, in case of the phloem student, then phloem, although the four elements are there, in which the companion cell, it is having the nucleus, so it is attached with the sieve tube although does not have the nucleus, it is enucleated, but it is having the living cytoplasm. Okay, so both of them are living. Okay, also the phloem parenchyma which is present in it, that is also a living cells. So it is made up of a living cell, and this one is made up of a dead cell. Cell wall is thick. So due to the formation of the lignin, due to the deposition of the lignin on the cell wall of that of the xylem, it make this deposition makes the wall thick. Okay, so due to the process of the lignification, the cell wall of that of the xylem is thick. But if you see, in case of a phloem student, so there is no such deposition of a lignin occur in that of the phloem, and due to which the cell wall in case of the phloem is thin. Now here the cell wall is made up of a lignin, as I am discussing about that here the cell wall in the cell wall lignification process occur, and due to which the deposition of the lignin occur. So we can say that cell wall is made up of a lignin. But in case of a phloem, if you see that it is thin and it is living cells. We know that as we have studied in case of the parenchyma also, that parenchyma is a living cells, parenchymatous cells are living, as well as they are thin, and due to the thin cell wall the exchange of the substances can take place easily in parenchyma. The same thing with the phloem, the cell wall is thin and it is made up of a living cells, which proves that exchange of the material can take place in that of the phloem. And why the cell wall is thin student? It is because it is made up of a cellulose. So this all the thing, the a wall become a this cells become a dead cell, or a wall become thick or a thin. It is due to the material. Means what kind of a material is present on the wall, or from which material this wall is made up of. Okay, so cell wall is thick here and cell wall is thin here. It is made up of a lignin and it is made up of a cellulose. Now if you see the other one, see here, the cells do not have a cytoplasm. Okay, and energy is liberated in the form of a ATP. So here the cell, since it is a dead cell, so there is no chance of the presence of the cytoplasm. You know student, due to the process of lignification, the exchange of a material does not occur, and due to which the cytoplasm at maturation die. So there is no cytoplasm is present in it. While in case of that of the phloem, here energy is liberated in the form of ATP, because nucleus is there. In the companion cell, nucleus is present in it, and that nucleus and the cytoplasm is present also. In the sieve tube also living cytoplasm is present. So this cytoplasm and that of the nucleus which is present in the phloem help in generating the energy. Okay. If you see, in case of the xylem, it carries water in a unidirectional manner from root to the apical part of the plant. So here only the transportation of the substances occur only in one direction. That is, the water is taken up by the root, and root take this water, transfer this water to that of the leaves. So it is a movement which occur only in one direction, and that is why we are calling it that here unidirectional movement, unidirectional transportation occur. When we talk of that of the phloem, then we see that it carries food bidirectionally. That is, from leaves to the storage part, and from the storage part to the growing plant. So here the food is carried, the food is prepared in the leaves, and it is carried from the storage part, that is from the leaves to the storage part, where is to be stored in the form of a starch, as well as it is to be transferred to the upper portion or to the lower part of the plant. So this kind of a direction, you see, it will go to the upper portion or to the lower portion, and thus it will travel a two directional movement. So that kind of a movement is the bidirectional movement. Now, if you see, they're found in the center of the vascular bundle. If you see the TS of the vascular bundle, student, then you find that the xylem element, the primary xylem and the secondary xylem, it is present just above to that of the pith. Pith is what? It is the center portion of that of the cell. Okay, center. If you take a TS of a plant, then you find that pith is present at the center. So it is present just above to that of the pith, which proves, which said that it is the innermost, or it is the center of that of the vascular bundle. So if you see the TS of a vascular bundle, then you find that it is present at the center of the vascular bundle. While that of the phloem, it is present at the outside of the vascular bundle. Okay, so if you see the vascular bundle, the inner, the which is the conducting tissue which is present at the center is xylem, and the tissue which is present at the periphery or outside, that is known as phloem. So this is the difference in their location also. Now if we see here, passive transport of water and mineral occur, and here active transportation of a sugar and other metabolites occur. So here passive transportation, it means there is no need of energy. So this movement occur without any need of energy in case of the xylem. The movement occur due to the transpiration pull. But you see what happened in the phloem. Phloem, it transport the sugar and the other metabolites that help in releasing the energy. So somehow energy is involved in case of the transportation of the phloem. While in case of a xylem, there is no need of such energy, and that is why we are using a term that is, in case of a xylem, passive transportation occur, and in case of a phloem, active transportation of the sugar and the other metabolite occur. So this is the basic difference of the xylem to that of the phloem. Both of them are the complex permanent tissues, but their properties, their functions, that is totally different, which make them differ from each other. Okay. Now we will see that we have studied about all the different tissues which is present in that of the plant. Okay. Now we will see some of the protective tissues which is present in our plant. That protective plant tissue include two things. The first one is the epidermis. You can see here, student, this is a protective tissue which is having epidermis, and the second one is the cork cell. Okay, so epidermis is there and cork cell is there. Okay, now we will start with the first one, and that is the epidermis. You see here protective tissue, it include epidermis and cork. So it is usually present in the outermost layer of the plant body, such as leaf, flower, stem and root. So when we talk about the epidermis, the term epi, it means upper, and dermis, it means the layer or the skin, derma. Okay, you had heard about dermatologist. So skin, that the doctors who see the skin portion. Okay, so derma, it means the skin. Okay, so the upper layer, the outermost layer. So you see here, student, if you compare that our body, our skin is there to protect us from the outer problems or from the foreign materials, okay, that may harm to our body. Okay, so our internal organ is covered inside by a layer. That layer is our skin. So do plant is also having a skin? Yes, the plants are also having a skin, and that is a protective part of the plant. So epidermal tissue, we can say, or the epidermis, it is the outermost cover of the plant body, and the outermost layer of the leaf, stem, that of the root. Okay, so, and these cells, if you see the cells, they are flat, thin, and they arrange themselves edge to edge without any intercellular space. So it is a one cell thick, covered with the cuticle. But if you see the epidermal layer, this is the epidermal layer. This is the first layer, outer covering, which is present in that of the leaf, stem and root. So when you see it, it seems flat, and you see here they had arranged themselves very closely with each other. The edges, they are combined together, and there is no intercellular spaces are present in the epidermal tissue. Now the question is, why there is no intercellular spaces? It is because it is the outer covering, and the outer covering or it makes the cover of the plant body. So the cover, it should not be disrupted. Okay, it should not have the spaces. It should be a continuous sheet. Okay, so it is does not have an intercellular space. Okay, now if you see that of the epidermal tissue, then you will find, then we find that these cells, they are arranged cell to cell, and there is a presence of a nucleus in it. Okay, so if you see this epidermal tissue from that of the upside, then you find that a thin layer with a hexagonal or polygonal shape like a cells are fitted each other perfectly. So if you see it from the upside, then you find that there is a thin layer. It is a single layer which is having the hexagonal or a polygonal shape. Cells are present in it which are properly fitted with each other. And due to this fitting, there is no intercellular spaces. Okay. Now see the epidermal tissue, which is epidermal tissue or the epidermis, which is present in that of the leaf. Okay, in that of the leaf as well as in that of the stem. So in case of the leaf, the upper side, we are talking here about the upper side. So the upper side of the leaf, It is covered by a layer, and that is known as cuticle. Okay, so the outer wall of the epidermis, it is usually thick and it is covered with a organic substance which is called as a cuticle, which is a separate layer outside to that of the epidermis. Okay, this cuticle is consisting of an organic substance, that is cutin. Okay, so this epidermis, it is having a layer which is present especially in the upper surface of the leaf, that is cuticle, and this cuticle is basically formed of a cutin, and this cutin, 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 it is an organic substance, and this cutinized wall, the wall which consisting of the cutin, is the cutinized wall. This cutinized wall of an epidermis, it greatly reduces loss of water by the process of transpiration. Okay, so somehow it help in preventing the loss of the water from the outer layer. Okay, so it is present in the leaves, and you know that in leaves a small pore is present, and that is known as a stomata, and this work of the stomata is that it help in transpiration, it help in releasing the excess amount of water, and the water in the form of a water vapor. Even the gases exchange also take place in that of the stomata. Okay, so this layer which is made up of a cutin, which is present at the upper layer, it help in reducing the loss of the water by the process of transpiration. Now this cuticle, it is not present in that of the roots. Okay, it is basically present in that of the leaves and the stems, but most of the time we call it is present at the that of the leaf surface, but it does not present in that of the root epidermis. Now, in spite of that, if you see that under extreme dry condition, the cuticle, it is reinforced by a layer of a wax. Okay, so cuticle is present which reduces the loss of water, but if the condition is very dry, then a layer of a wax is also present on it. Like wax is present in the dry condition, and you see student that this wax is also present on the upper surface of the floating leaves, the aquatic plants, the leaves which float in the water, that upper layer of that leaf also consisting of a wax. Now, what is the function of a wax? You know, student, wax is what? Is an another kind of a layer which is present on the epidermis. So, basic function of this wax is that it protect them from wetting. Okay, it prevent a excess amount of the water to harm them. So, it protect them from wetting. Even in the seals, you see these epidermal cells, they, instead of that of the wax, they are also having a deposition of silica. The silica, it provides stiffness. Okay, so this stiffness, it protect them against that of the grazing animals. So you see that the epidermis is, although it is present at the upper surface, but it is having certain layer which protect it from the other harmful things. Not only this student, you see there are certain outgrowth like that of the hair. So hair, it can be present in that of the root epidermis, or it can be present in the shoot, on the shoot epidermis. Root hair, it can be unicellular, or that of the shoot hair, it is multicellular. Okay, so root hair, they are responsible for the absorption of water, while the shoot hair is responsible for the protection of the of the plant, and also it prevents the water loss. Okay, so this is the hair, which is the outgrowth from that of the epidermis. Not only the student, you see, if we talk about the other thing, the epidermis, it is also having another outgrowth, and that is known as trichome. Trichome. This is another outgrowth. Trichome can be unicellular or multicellular. It can be branched or it can be unbranched. Major function of the trichome is the same, that it helps in protection, minimizes the water loss, as well as it acts as a secretory cell. So it helps in secreting some of the substances. And what are these substances which are secreted by the trichome? That is, it can be an acid, it can be an allergy causing substances, and due to which the grazing animal, they don't go near to the trichome, because that acid and the allergy causing substances will be released by the trichomes, which is present on the epidermis and causes irritation. So I'll repeat each and everything, student. I had studied that the epidermis is there. Epidermis, it is basically the outer covering. It is the outermost protective layer of the plant. These epidermis, they are present in the leaves, they are present in the stem, they are present in the root. These epidermis, they are flat and thin. And the cells of the epidermis, they arrange themselves edge to edge, and because of that there is no intercellular spaces between them. And since no intercellular spaces between them, so this is a continuous sheet. Okay, and it is because the hexagonal and the polygonal cells, they join together, they are very much fitted with each other, and due to which there is no space between them. Now these epidermis, they are having the nucleus also and the cytoplasm. Epidermis, which is present on it is present on that of the stem and present on the upper surface of the leaf, they are having a thick and it is usually covered with a thick and covered with a organic substance, that is cutin. These cutin form a separate layer outside the epidermis, which is called a cuticle. Okay, so we can say that the outer surface of the epidermis of leaf and stem consisting of the cuticle. The function of the cuticle, that it helps in reducing the loss of water by transpiration. Under very extreme condition, this cuticle is reinforced by a layer of wax. Now this wax, it means it is present on the epidermis, it is also present on the upper surface of the floating leaves, which protect them from wetting. Now in some of the cedars, you see the epidermal cells, they are having a layer of a silica, and this silica provides stiffness. Okay, there are certain outgrowth also which is present in that of the epidermis. It means there are some substance which comes out of that of the epidermal layer. So you see, in case of the root epidermis and the shoot epidermis, which is root epidermis is a unicellular and shoot is a multicellular, this root hair, it comes from them that of the epidermis. So we can say the first outgrowth is the hair, which come from the root and the shoot. Root hair, you know that they used to divide themselves, they used to go to search water, so they are responsible for the absorption of the water. More root hair will be there, more absorption of water will also take place, while that of the shoot hair is responsible for the protection and it prevents the water loss. There is another kind of a trichome is present in it, that is that help in protecting, minimizing the water loss, and it secretes some substances like acid and allergy causing substances, which help these plants from that of the grazing animals. Okay. Now we will see the function of that of the epidermis. So see here student, we already said that it performs the function of the protection. But how does it performs the function of the protection? So first of all, it protects the internal tissues. Okay, protection is the major function of that of the epidermis. But how, what are the ways by which it protects the plant? The first one is it protects the internal tissues, because you see it is the outermost, that's why the internal tissue is protected by the epidermis. So it protects internal tissues against any kind of a mechanical energy, parasitic fungi, bacteria, from the temperature, that is from the cold or from the heat. Second one is thick cuticle. You know that cuticle wax and that of the epidermal hair, or the multi-layered epidermis. All these things, it help in reducing the loss of water from the internal tissues. You know that water is very important for the plant. So a loss of water, it should be prevented by the epidermal layer. Now the glandular hair of epidermis. Okay, so these hair of epidermis, as in stinging nettles, it protect plant from the herbivorous animals. So right now we discussed that how the trichome, or that of the hair, the glandular hair, which protect the plant from the grazing animal or from the herbivorous animal. So it help, or it protect the plant in such ways.